Joining us to talk about how things are getting better in the business world, Robert Bryce, Senior Fellow at the Manhattan Institute, author of the new book, Smaller, Faster, Lighter, Cheaper, Denser, How Innovation Keeps Proving the Catastrophists Wrong. And Robert joins us from Newsmax, New York. Robert, it is great to have you on America's Forum.
Thanks for having me, JD.
Now, Robert, before we get to all those affirmations of smaller, lighter, faster, denser, I've just got to focus on that word catastrophists, because it's a word that is entirely appropriate. So much gloom and doom, so many people, my old friend Toby Roth in Congress used to call them the yeah butters. Yeah, but there are problems here. Yeah, but you're going to harm the environment. Catastrophists. Where did you seize upon that word?
Well, JD, it's a word that's been around for a long time. It's one that we've heard, this catastrophist view of the future we've really been hearing since the days of Thomas Malthus in the 1700s. When you look at the history of this kind of worldview, it clearly begins with Malthus. We see it today in the work of Paul Ehrlich, and even in some of the statements from climate activists like Bill McKibben. This idea is that we've fallen from grace. We've sinned, and therefore we're headed for doom of whatever type. We're running out of food, peak oil, climate change, the rest of it. This is all of a piece with this same idea that really, in some ways, we could trace even back to the Garden of Eden myth and Adam and Eve.
Well, as you offer the affirmations in that title as well, smaller, faster, cheaper, lighter, has business been able to succeed in spite of government and the heavy hand of regulation?
The book is really about that innovation process and about the entrepreneurs. The book includes several profiles of different companies, some very well known, some not so well known. I talk about Ford Motor Company. Here's a company founded by really an icon in American industry, Henry Ford. What was Ford's great insight? What did he do? He made his vehicles smaller, faster, lighter, denser, cheaper. Look at Ford today, the new EcoBoost engine, the 1-liter engine that Ford is using in many of their vehicles. The power density, that is the amount of energy flow that they can harness per liter of engine displacement today in this new 1-liter EcoBoost engine is 16 times that of the engine in the original Model T. So I talk about Intel, I talk about Ford, I talk about Aquion, a company based in Pittsburgh that makes batteries. I talk about Safaricom, a company in Kenya that is pioneering mobile payments. All of these companies are thriving now because of innovation, because they're able to make their things and processes smaller, faster, lighter, denser, cheaper.
And when we talk about these innovations, and that's a very interesting story about Ford, kind of a back to the future, the company's philosophy from the days of Henry Ford put through greater innovations. But I'm wondering, are there some general principles for every American company or small business to embrace for their own survival these days?
I think it is that the title that you look at companies that are trying to succeed. How are they succeeding? Because they're making their products lighter. They're making them our communications faster. They're making their engines denser. They're farmers today in agricultural production. It's denser food production. This is a trend that it runs across all sectors of the economy, and it's a trend that is inexorable. It's what we humans do. We're not going to sit around and freeze in the dark. We're going to invent. We're going to innovate. We're going to iterate. We're going to make things different and new, and in doing so, some companies will thrive and prosper. Some will fall by the wayside because they haven't innovated quickly enough. They haven't made their processes, their products smaller, faster, lighter, denser, cheaper, fast enough.
Robert, you used a phrase a second ago that I first heard during the energy crisis of the 1970s, freeze in the dark. That was such a concern back then. It remains a concern, and a variation on that theme from the catastrophists there. But let me ask you about energy and where we are headed. Is oil shale the next big thing in terms of energy in the United States and North America?
shale oil and shale gas are now fundamentally changing the U.S. energy picture. And why has it happened? Well, the U.S. was uniquely positioned to tap shale resources. Remember, for many years, decades even, oil and gas drillers thought there was no way to extract natural gas and oil from shale. And in 2005, Lee Raymond, the CEO of ExxonMobil, declared very flatly that in the lower 48 states there was no more natural gas to be found. Well, what's happened? Last year, natural gas production in the U.S. was 40% higher than it was in 2005 when Lee Raymond made that claim. So we've seen what's happened in the oil and gas sector, where they have adopted better drilling techniques, better drill rigs, better drill bits, more powerful pumps, better seismic technology. All of these things have combined to now make the U.S. truly an energy superpower, and it is attracting investment from companies all over the world. The French, the Pakistanis, the Germans are now investing billions and even tens of billions of dollars in the U.S. to take advantage of low-cost energy in the United States.
Robert Bryce, it is a remarkable story. Innovation and Energy and Prosperity, the new book, once again entitled Smaller, Faster, Lighter, Denser, Cheaper, How Innovation Keeps Proving the Catastrophist Wrong. Robert, we thank you for your time so much.
Thanks a million.
And we'll put the question to you. Do you believe innovation is the key? Why don't you tweet me your comments at Newsmax TV, #America's Forum.